Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the NovaPlayzCoding YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be creating a Flask web page system. We're going to do two things. First things first, we're going to create a Flask Hello World, just to let you guys learn how to do Flask Hello World. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be diving into the world of web development with Python and Flask. We're going to be setting up a basic Flask server and creating a simple web page based off from Flask. This is a perfect tutorial for any beginners or anyone looking to refresh their skills. So without further ado, let's get going into this tutorial and let's have a little bit of fun. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have Python installed on our computer. If we don't have Python installed on our computer, that's perfectly fine. The easiest way to install Python onto your computer is literally just go to the Microsoft Application Store if you have a Microsoft computer and install Python from that store. If we don't have Python installed, if we don't want to install it from the Microsoft Application Store, we can also install it directly from Python's website. Links will be down in the description below for anyone who wants to install Python. Once we have Python installed, it's very easy, it's very simple. We can just use the Python package manager. It's very fast, just one command. That's all we got to do to install Flask and get going inside of this tutorial. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a requirements.txt file. This is going to manage all of our packages for us so that we don't have to deal with any of this. We're going to do a pip freeze at the end of the tutorial, or I'll show the command on screen. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to create a Python virtual environment. Now, this is going to allow us to isolate our development environment from our base environment because we don't want to get these two mixed up. It's very, very problematic if we do. The next thing we're going to have is a main.py file. This is going to hold all of our stuff. Now, usually we have to manually activate these virtual environments, so we're going to go and navigate to the directory for the virtual environment. We're going to type in activate in the scripts directory for the virtual environment, and then we're going to cd back to our main base thing. And now we can actually install Flask. So we're going to go pip install Flask, and it's just going to run automatically. So we're going to go from Flask import Flask, uppercase Flask. That's very important. We don't want to import the lowercase Flask or it's not going to work properly. Now we're going to go app equals Flask name. And this essentially tells Flask, hey, I am here, this is me, right? That's what it is. Now we're going to go at app.route, and then we're going to put a / inside of this. Now we're going to want to create a definition, so we're going to go def home, and then we're going to put the, I don't remember what these are called. And we just want to create a basic simple return though for this function. Essentially we're just going to say hello world. It's very simple, it's very easy. For this part, and this is the basic Flask hello world, but there's one last step that we need to do to actually set this up so we can run. We're going to make an if statement. We're going to say if the name is absolutely equals main, then we're going to run the app. So we're going to go app.run, and we're going to do debug equals true inside of this. Also keep in mind for this, all of the stuff needs to be uppercase for true and false. Now we're going to activate our Python file, so it's just python main.py. Now we're going to navigate to the web page, and we see hello world inside of our web page for this. Very simple. Right, it's a very simple hello world. It's not that complicated to handle this right now. All right, so the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're actually going to want to set up the HTML document. So the directory structure for Flask HTML files is a little bit interesting for this to actually set up properly. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a folder called templates, and this folder essentially is going to hold all of our HTML files. So we're going to make a home.html inside of this directory here. we're just going to build a basic, really basic HTML document. So we're just going to say the doc type, it just tells HTML, hey, this is actually HTML, and we're going to declare the HTML inside for the code that we're going to be using. And we're just going to create a header file, or at least the head of it, and we're going to make a title inside of this head as well. So now we just type in whatever text we want to type in. So we're just going to call this My Flask app. It's fairly simplistic. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create the body. So we're going to create the body. We're going to create a header 1. So this essentially tells it, hey, this is a big text, and we're going to just type in welcome to NovaPlays, like welcome to NovaPlayzCoding, or the NovaPlayzCoding. Yeah, it's essentially welcome to the tutorial, right? That's pretty much what we're going to do here. You can write anything you want inside of here, but yeah, we're just writing welcome to the NovaPlayzCoding channel inside of this text box here. The next thing that we're going to want to do is, once this is fully done, we're going to want to go back to main.py, and we're going to do a few things. So we're going to import something called render template, and this render template essentially just tells Flask, hey, we're going to be running HTML files, and that templates folder is essentially what it is. So we're going to call render template, and we're going to call our home.html. We can put it whatever types of HTML files we want inside of there, and that's pretty much the full tutorial. We just run the website again, we refresh the page, and here we go. We see our full HTML file loaded up onto our web browser, and that's pretty much it. If you like this tutorial, you know what button to hit. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe so that you can get notifications. Make sure to turn on the bell notifications as well. And we're going to see you in the next episode, guys. We're going to get right into the next episode after this one, so have fun.